NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
We know how.
Willingly contracting the coronavirus for science. Tonight we'll hear from one local man volunteering in a controversial COVID-19 vaccine trial. Thank you for joining us for the Nightly Check-In. I'm Catherine Garcia. A grassroots group of scientists called One Day Sooner is compiling volunteers willing to risk their own lives for the greater good. Patrick Mulrooney from San Diego is one of them.
I'm relatively young and healthy. I know for myself, getting COVID is reasonably low risk. So I figured this is something I can do to contribute.
The 36-year-old computer programmer with Scripps Institution of Oceanography is one of 31,000 people worldwide who signed up. If biotech companies get the green light for a human challenge trial and decide to use one, volunteers would go through strict medical evaluations to siphon out the healthiest candidates. Those volunteers would then get injected with the vaccine, wait a couple of weeks, and then once the response has shown, get injected with COVID. Critics push back, asking how volunteers can give informed consent when so little is known about the potential long-term complications of the virus.
And I understand why the bioethicists have the concern. There's a reason we conduct vaccine trials the way we normally do. But this is not normal time. And the impact is so great that I think the response needs to be equally as great.
According to statistics on the One Day Sooner website, the death risk would be comparable to childbirth or a kidney donation. Human challenge trials have not been guaranteed at this point, but they also have not been ruled out. Here are the latest numbers today. 560 new cases out of almost 9,000 new tests reported. That puts the daily positivity rate and the 14-day average at 6%. The goal is to remain below 8%. There are now 18,402 total confirmed cases. 9 more San Diegans have died, making 28 deaths announced in just the last 3 days. The county's total death toll is now 415 San Diegans. As coronavirus cases continue to grow, the North County is seeing a faster growth rate than other parts of the region. Public health numbers analyzed by NBC7 show cases rising at a fast rate in San Marcos, followed by Vista and Fallbrook. Arguably, one of the busiest spots these past few months has been the Green Thumb Nursery in San Marcos, which has seen an increase in sales. Despite the demand, operations at the nursery have changed, but a worker we spoke to is trying to maintain her sunny outlook with the help of the nursery.
I mean, everything I think about, illness and survival has a lot to do with attitude. And I feel like it's a pretty easy place to have a great attitude.
County health leaders say there is no one reason why there are spikes in different communities. They just remind everybody to be careful. USS Roosevelt, which got worldwide attention in March after crew members contracted COVID-19, is back home in San Diego. The ship's commanding officer, Captain Brett Crozier, sounded the alarm in a letter to Navy leadership. That letter was leaked, and then he was relieved of his command. Out of the 6,000 sailors on the ship, about 1,200 tested positive and were treated. One sailor died. The Navy says there has not been a positive test on board for weeks now, and the carrier has been completely cleaned. Tonight, we caught up with a Starbucks barista who got $100,000 from a GoFundMe fundraiser after he was shamed by a customer who was not wearing a mask. San Diego native and Starbucks barista Lenin Gutierrez stood his ground by enforcing the company's rule that customers wear masks indoors. Gutierrez says he's amazed by how much support he's receiving.
I'm honestly so blessed and honored to have this opportunity given to me from everyone around the world. And I just want to make sure I do the right thing with it.
Gutierrez not only received donated tips from all over the world, but also messages of support on social media. You can hear the full interview and what Lenin Gutierrez ended up doing with the $100,000 donation on a new episode of our Into San Diego podcast. It comes out tomorrow. Well, temperatures are heating up toward the weekend. Dagbar will join us after this quick break.
NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. We know how.
We need a new AC.
I don't think we can afford one.
Well, I wish we knew how.
Did someone say how?
For a quality American-made air conditioner?
You know who to call.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. We know how.
here's what we're looking at for your Friday. It will be warmer than your Wednesday and your Thursday because we did enjoy a midweek cool down. But what we are ending up seeing now, temperatures in that upper 70 mark for the beaches. You'll continue to climb. Inland valleys, you're also looking at the upper 80s and now the low 90s. Look at the temperatures in the mountains, though. 90 degrees, you'll keep climbing as you head towards the weekend. And looking at the deserts, you're at anywhere from 112 to 113 in Borrego Springs. Ocotillo Wells looking even warmer. The temperatures will continue to climb as we head through the weekend, but for your Friday, know that this is already the start of the heat peak.
The sports arena area is about to get a huge makeover, and starting tomorrow, you can weigh in on several redevelopment proposals that will be unveiled online. The city of San Diego is hoping to revitalize the area by adding more entertainment options, affordable housing, and more bike and pedestrian paths. It's possible the arena could also be renovated or rebuilt. The proposals by developers will be unveiled on a special city website that will be live for 11 days until July 20th. Councilwoman Jennifer Campbell represents this district and says she appreciates the idea of getting the public's opinion on this big project.
I think it's a good idea to always include the public. That's who we serve. That's what the city government should be about. And so I think the city is attempting to be more transparent and take into account what the citizens want and what the citizens believe.
Campbell estimates the council will vote on which proposal gets the bid sometime in August or September. Disneyland may be closed, but you can still feel the spirit of the happiest place on earth right outside. The downtown Disney district reopened today. People will have their temperatures checked. They'll be required to wear masks indoors, and only outdoor dining is allowed at this time. Disneyland and California Adventure, again, they are still closed. They'll reopen at a later date, but who knows when. It's depending on state and local government approvals. That's going to do it for our nightly check-in. By the way, a reminder, make sure to check out a new episode of our Scene in San Diego featuring Eater podcast. This week, we explore the new wave of pandemic-related closures for indoor dining rooms at local restaurants. Have a good night.